Soon, Volvo will bid farewell to combustion power for good, as it transitions into a purveyor of EVs only. First to arrive on Australian shores will be the XC40 Recharge, little SUV, but soon after that it will be joined by its coupe cousin, the C40 Recharge. I've come all the way to this little car's birthplace in Belgium to have an early look at what we can expect to arrive late in 2022. At the front of the C40 you can tell something is a little bit different because of this grille that isn't really a grille. Now the EV does need air for cooling, but not as much as a combustion powered vehicle. So that's the reason for this blanked off grille. A slightly more smooth and more aerodynamic look sets this car apart from its combustion powered and plug-in hybrid siblings. It rolls on 20-inch alloy wheels, beautiful machine finish face on there. They look stylish, but they're actually practical as well. They're very low drag, so it adds to the range of an EV. And they're shod in very special Pirelli Scorpion tyres. Now, the interesting thing with these is they were designed specifically for the car. It actually says Recharge on the sidewall, but they're an all-season tyre. Australia doesn't really like all-season tyres, so we'll have to see what it arrives with. That beautiful, elegant profile sets it apart from the standard XC40. That line does have an impact on the inside of the car, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And it leads round to the classic Volvo taillight. Not many manufacturers doing that. It's actually a style thing as well as a practical thing. Safety, because the light is much more visible from behind. On the outside it stands out in this beautiful fjord blue. No prizes for guessing what that's named after, but there's tons more to look at on the inside. Like the XC40, the cabin of the C40 is stunning with tons of good design touches to look at. And the first thing that jumps out is this amazing dash and door trim that's modelled on the Abisko National Park. It's like topography on a map. And at night, it's actually backlit with LEDs and looks super cool. Also, like the XC40, is this lovely carpet material made from recycled materials and plastics in the door trims. I've got black roof lining for a sporty feel, digital displays everywhere. And these seats I'm sitting on are really beautifully upholstered, but they're made with no leather at all. In fact, most of the cabin is used making recycled plastics. There's also practical touches too. For a start, it's huge in here, and there's these deep and wide door pockets on both sides. Lots of storage in the middle here, and a nice little touch, this waste disposal chute here, which goes straight underneath the car so people can't see you're doing it. No, that just goes into its own little spot there. There's a huge panoramic roof, which is a lovely touch, but it starts a long way back, and I don't feel like I can appreciate it in the front row. Probably best for your luxury and well-treated second row passengers. But this is an electric car, and that means what it drives like is of critical importance, and I can't wait to hit some of those Belgian roads and find out. This is the C40 Recharge Twin, which means it has two electric motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear for all-wheel drive. The combined output of those two motors is 300 kilowatts, and this car can get to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.7 seconds. That's quick, and it feels just as quick, particularly when you're up and running at freeway speeds. It's good off the mark, but when you're in gear, it is properly lightning fast. Now, at freeway speeds, its overtaking punch is really, really good, and I've surprised some serious performance hardware on these Belgian roads, and the look on some people's faces has been a real picture. The cabin is a lovely place to spend some time. Even at freeway speeds, it's very quiet in here. The aerodynamics cut wind noise, and of course there's no transmission noise. When you do hear something, it's different. It's not like a supercharger whine, it's almost like a high-speed electric train kind of hum in the background. And when you put your foot down really hard, it makes this lovely low kind of grumbling rumble. The visibility from in here is excellent when you're looking that direction. Only the A-pillars conspire with the door mirrors occasionally for a bit of a blind spot, especially when you're looking out over that side. My only real qualm is looking the other direction. That beautiful, elegant roofline actually cuts your rearward view out of that little letterbox rear window. But otherwise, it's a lovely place to be. One of my other favourite things about the C40 Recharge is the suspension tune. Now, Volvo's engineers took a deliberate decision to soften it slightly. Most EVs counter the heavy weight of a battery by becoming very stiff, but that can really crash and thump over some bigger imperfections. The Volvo doesn't though. It's got a much more lithe ride over some imperfections, and it's a much more comfortable place to be. Honestly, I think it's one of the best suspension tunes I've felt in any EV. The cost to that is a lot more roll in corners than you might be expecting, but as you're doing more of this kind of driving most of the time, I prefer it to be a slightly softer, more comfortable ride. Found a bit of traffic, which is not ideal if I'm being completely honest, but it does give me an opportunity to try this all new information and entertainment system. It's special because the hardware was developed by Volvo, but on top of that is an operating system jointly developed by Google and Volvo. And what that means is you've got all of the power, the search engine, the maps of Google, but Volvo's own look and its very own way of making it work. It looks great, but one of the special things about it is there's various different levels in which you can use it. So at the hardcore end of the spectrum, you can pair your Google account to it as well as your Volvo owner's account, and that will give you the ultimate level of interaction. For example, you get in the car, Volvo recognizes who you are and will adjust all your seat and climate settings to your favorite, and Google recognizes who you are, so it gives you all of your favorites in Google Maps and things like your Spotify favorites. But the best thing in my mind about the system is it has its own SIM card, an eSIM embedded in the electronics. And what that means is you don't need to pair a phone to the system for it to work at all. In this country, Volvo is giving you unlimited internet, which is very generous. We'll have to see what happens when it comes to Australia. But without having to pair a phone to the system, it still gives me access to some of the most powerful features. So let's give it a go. Hey Google, navigate to Melbourne, Australia.
I can't find driving directions to your destination.
Okay, that might have been a bit of a tall order. Let's try something a little bit easier, kind. Hey Google, play Arcade Summer by FM 84.
Got it. Asking Spotify to play Arcade Summer by FM 84.
Cool. And as if this car wasn't unconventional enough as it is, it's being sold in a very unorthodox way here too. Online sales only for the C40 Recharge. And when you do buy one, Volvo will throw in a bundle of extras which will cover so many of the day-to-day expenses like some recharging, your insurance, and loads of other bits and pieces too. Now, whether Australia gets that attractive bundle, that's yet to be seen. But from my first encounter with the C40 in its homeland of Belgium, well, it looks like we're going to be getting another really compelling EV to join a whole growing list in Australia when it arrives in 2022. If you've liked this video, you know what to do. Hit like and ring the bell so you get notified every time we post a new video like this. Or maybe not like this. And who knows where I'll be in the world next time.